Time to put some front struts together. Getting the old factory Mazda cartridges out requires a special cap nut wrench. I took it to Paul at Rotorsport in Santa Clara, who said he had the tool, and he pulled out my old inserts for me. When it came time to install the Konis, he said he never had such a tool and couldn't do it. So here I am having a go at it. There is very little clearance between a new strut insert and the strut housing. It's darn near metal to metal. It felt like it needed lube just to thread the new inserts in. The 74 had Konis in it also. I was able to get those off with a monkey wrench and found a small amount of fluid in each housing. I thought this was leakage just from the old inserts. Factory manual says nothing about it. So what I've done is I've poured the amount out of an old strut. So what we've got is about 20 ml.
I'm convinced this oil belongs there.
Not random. It's 20 ml.
Maybe it's part of the instructions for aftermarket strut inserts.
20 ml of lube going in.
My new Konis didn't come with any instructions.
I want the oil that I just put in here to coat the whole barrel. This whole oil in the strut housing thing, pretty much the question of the day. Nothing in the factory manual about it. I'm sure factory inserts didn't have that. Can't find any Koni instructions, so I can't confirm that it's an aftermarket requirement. So what do you think about that? Good idea? Bad idea? Comment section down below. So when I brought these back to Paul at Rotorsport in Santa Clara, he denied having a special tool and he wouldn't touch them. He's telling me about how Konis sometimes have a nub on the bottom that you might need to cut to length. And that gave me shadow of doubt that now I need to look at my old strut inserts and see their exact length. Further delaying this project because the old struts were in my other garage in Santa Maria and then I couldn't find them, so I had to use the ones from the green car. Fortunately, the green car struts were already pulled because I needed the coil springs, those blue ones you've seen, the Carrera racing springs. So I didn't have to drop everything and pull struts. This should thread in easy. It's powder from the powder coat on fine threads. And it hasn't mattered up until now. I have a larger channel lock. Can't find it. One of the kids probably borrowed it. Some damn thing. Okay, there's a Koni. Okay, get these puppies put together. Take a spring, take a bump stop, take a bellows, in you go. Typical stock coil springs are taller, and I would have needed a coil spring compressor to assemble these struts. These Carrera racing springs, short, didn't need a compression tool. It is, bitches. Gotta get the shaft sticking out far enough to deal with it. And we're just gonna pull this out. Up comes the shaft. Easy. Let's put a spring on. Let's put a bellows in. Bump stop. This little guy on. This guy. This guy. Oh, you gotta be kidding. This lock nut's missing the nylon. Look at that. Lock nut's missing the nylon. I'm gonna put it together just so it stays together and I can continue to work on the strut. And I've got the old ones here that I will take down to the hardware store and get another nylon nut. So here's where my prior footage of the vehicle before it came apart comes in handy. I need to know which strut goes on the right and which strut goes on the left.
Here we go.
So looking at these here. So right here, the open end where the brake hose slides into points towards the rear of the vehicle. So, with this notch here pointing towards the rear of the car, I am obviously holding the right-hand side backing plates. So now the question is, does the caliper point down or up? Because they'll both go. Pretty sure it points up. Okay, we're reviewing the footage. The caliper points up. So this will be the right plate here. Because to put this one on, makes it so that the caliper would be pointing down, angled that way. Wrong answer. They point up. Okay, so there we go. Front backing plate is 30 foot-pounds. New wheel seals going on. Need to put a little grease in here. Got my Valvoline Sin Power. Let's get it on. When I cleaned the back plates, it seemed like there was like a felt seal in this groove here. I couldn't find anything about that when I was sourcing parts for the car. Nothing. But I am going to hit it with grease so that if there's metal to metal ever, we've got lube. The rotors go with this indent pointing towards the car. This protrusion is pointing out. Get a little oil on this recess. That's gonna help put it on. My new cotter pins are at the other garage, so I will put everything on except the cotter pin. Now these get torqued to a specific gram weight, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. New oil seal going in. It's National 1213. Grease in here. I don't have my torque wrench here, so I'll get that later. Okay, next, I want grease on here. Lubing this recess up with oil. Want the rotor to slide on nice. Front hub to rotors are 40 foot-pounds. When I get back to the other garage in Santa Maria, I've got a little to-do list. I need to torque the backing plate bolts to 30 foot-pounds. I need to torque the hub to rotor bolts to 40 foot-pounds, and I need the little cotter pins. I've got brand new cotter pins for these little retainer nuts. Also on the to-do list is to torque the nylon nut down for the shocks. I've just stumbled across this old footage. So before I clean the strut caps, I was wondering if they were the same or not, and it appears that they're different. One on the right seems to have a little nubbin at the top washer that is off to the right when the cone piece is at 12 o'clock. In the same manner, the left side has that same nubbin on the washer on the left side, and the coil notch is at 12 o'clock. So, they're different. So after finding that piece of footage on my hard drive, I film this stuff so I know how shit goes back together. Turns out, with the nubbin down on the right, with the spring notch at the top, that goes on the right. But this is a left strut. I know this because the notch for the brake line faces the rear, as does the caliper facing the rear, and that one's got to be a left strut. So, I'm not sure if or why this matters, but I'm not taking any chances and I'm fixing it. So to keep them pretty, I wrap them up in movers blankets. I gotta truck them down to my other garage in Santa Maria.
This is Tom. Tom's got an FC that he's rebuilding his motor on. Shanghaied him to come on over and help me do my struts here.
Go to the rear just a little bit. Lift the screw. Okay, let go.
Go. Is it in?
It's most of the way in.
Excellent.
Get it on, see how much of a bite I can get.
As you can imagine, this weighs a ton.
Okay.
40 foot-pounds. And it's a 22 millimeter socket that'll get that thing on there. Strut tower knots, 35. Oh, one more thing. Got another gift link for you. Find that in the YouTube description down below. You're welcome. Thanks for watching, car fans. Click that like button, hit subscribe, watch my previous episodes, and don't miss upcoming videos, including front suspension reassembly, weather stripping, fuel tank. It's coming. Peace out, brother. What the hell's in here, anyway? I found me marbles. I found me marbles.